Triathlon?
Just the sprint one, yeah.
Okay, I think you've got quite a lot with you, to be honest.
Do you think?
Yeah, have you done this before?
I haven't.
Okay, we'll have a little chat about what you really need. Hello and welcome to this pretty gritty video about tackling your first ever triathlon. So today Katie and I are going to help you to bust some of the myths around all the equipment that you think you need to do your first triathlon but probably actually don't.
Yeah, and I think it's surrounded in myth that you actually need an awful lot of equipment, but if you break it down, you don't need much.
You don't need much at all, and you don't need to spend a fortune. So let's get going. So to begin with, you're going to need something to carry all your equipment into the start of the race and to have in transition with you. That can be a bag or a box, just something big enough that you can fit all your gubbins in. Don't make it too big because you will fill it.
Yes, you will.
So these transition bags are handy, but you don't need to have something like this. The main reason they are handy is because they've got a bit of a waterproof compartment in the bottom, which as you get into triathlon you might find is useful for keeping things like your wetsuit and stuff like that in, but you definitely don't need a race specific bag for your first triathlon.
Not at all.
So in your bag you are going to, obviously the first part of the triathlon is going to be the swim. Now for the swim you might be wearing a lovely triathlon suit. But equally, don't go out and buy one if you're not sure whether or not this is your one and only triathlon. You can just wear your swimming costume, and over your swimming costume, when you get out to get on your bike, you can just put a pair of shorts and t-shirt on, and that is absolutely fine. The other thing that you'll need for the swim is a pair of goggles, and usually with most races they will give you a swim cap, won't they, to wear. So just those two bits and you're off. You can do the first part of the triathlon. So after your swim, when you get back out to transition one, you're then going to hop on your bicycle. So Katie, bikes, what do you need?
Bikes, well you need a roadworthy bike. I mean this one here, an aero bike, it's particularly suited to triathlon, but of course on your first one you wouldn't even know whether you wanted to continue to do triathlons. So any roadworthy bike would do initially. Obviously you need a helmet.
Yeah.
And
we suggest you maybe take a little towel. This is handy to stand on when you come out of the pool, and you can just dry your feet. When we say dry your feet, we don't mean sit down and start drying between your toes, because you're going to waste an awful lot of time doing that. You're just going to stand on the towel and give your feet a bit of a rub whilst you're putting your helmet on and stuff like that. It can be handy to have a bright coloured towel just so that you can identify whereabouts your spot was in the transition area, but you just need to be mindful of following any instructions from race officials, because sometimes it's frowned upon if it looks like you're marking your space. Yeah. They might ask you to push it back in.
Yeah, I think so. Also on the bike you would need to take along a bottle of water perhaps, and a gel, because if you take the gel whilst you're on the bike it should start working whilst you're on the run.
But as with any nutrition, don't decide to do this on race day. If you haven't practiced using gels in your training, race day isn't the time to decide to take them, just in case it causes you any gastro issues or anything like that. Gastric? Anyway, don't do it for the first time on race day.
You might not even use bike shoes. Obviously if you are using bike shoes they will have to come off ready for the run, but honestly wear a pair of trainers throughout the whole lot. That would be
fine.
Absolutely fine.
So then you get back to transition and you are going to leave your bike there. If you, like Katie says, if you need to change your shoes at this point, you're going to put your trainers on. And that's it really. Off you go, out onto the final part. So we've made that seem very simple. That's because it is very simple.
People complicate things and it doesn't have to be. You will learn as you go through more and more triathlons. You'll add in a little bit more, but throwing it all in the mix on your first one is probably not a great move.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
And it is more accessible than people think. You don't need to have all the latest, all singing, all dancing equipment to take part in a triathlon. So now we're just quickly going to give you our cheap and cheerful game changers. We've got 3 of them for you. Number 1 is a race belt. So instead of having to pin your race number to your front and your back, because on the bike you need your race number to be visible on your back, and on the run they'll want to be able to see it on your front. If you've got one of these race belts on, you can just quickly swizz it round and the number will be facing the right way. There's also handy loops on here that you can put your gel or gels through there, dead easy to pull out like that. And if you want to look like an absolute pro and be super popular in transition,
yes, make friends,
take a hole punch, because you can then punch holes in your race number. Makes it even easier to string it onto the race belt. So that is tip number 1. Cheap and cheerful makes a big difference. Okay, Katie, tip number 2, tell them what this is for.
Okay, talcum powder, absolutely brilliant. This will speed things up. When you come out of the swim, you will need to put your bike shoes on, or you might go straight to your trainers. As we all know, trying to get into things when you're wet is really difficult. So, take your trainers, put the talcum powder in, give it a good shake, and open up.
Oh, it smells lovely.
It does smell lovely. There's the added bonus. When that's sitting there in transition and you come back to it, you will pop that on and it will slide on like a dream.
Soaking up all the excess moisture on your feet, and we definitely wouldn't recommend that you wear socks. You're gonna lose 5 minutes trying to wriggle into a pair of socks with damp feet in transition. So just whack the talc in the shoe, Bob's your uncle, done. Off you go. Right, final one, still on the trainers.
Yep.
We have got some things in these trainers called lock laces. Now, again, not expensive, but are a game changer. So instead of having your conventional laces that you tie, which is going to take a few minutes to do in transition, these lock laces just mean that you thread the laces through as usual, tighten the elastic, and it's as quick and simple as that. Off you go. So another one that will speed up the process of transition. Not an expensive thing to buy, but
and they never undo.
No,
do they?
once they're in your shoes, aren't they? And they're really comfortable. So that's it. So we wish you well as you embark on your first ever triathlon. Hopefully we've put everybody's nerves at ease in terms of thinking you need all the gear. You don't. You just need an idea, and that's hopefully what we've just given you. So we will see you again next time. Thanks for watching.
See you later.
Bye.
What we need to do, quite liberally,
it's brand new.
It's brand new.
It's brand new. Cut.
Is our acting really shit?
It's quite shit.
Nothing to hold me back. Take my time, just enjoy the ride.